What is going on, team? You guys are in for a treat this week. I think this is video, is this number 6? Must be. Actually, it's probably even number 7, to be honest. We did 5 sessions this week. We did a full day of eating, and then this is going to be another full day of eating / day in the life situation. So I don't know, 6, 7, you guys will have to check the channel. I can't remember. We do too many now. But we're having fun. So just to kind of give you guys some context, we are on day 3 of my refeed. So 3rd high day in a row now at 3,500 calories, 500 grams of carbs, which is nice. And day 2 of no training. So I did my last workout on Friday. I had yesterday, today, and I'll have tomorrow off as well. So 3 days of no training and 4 high days of food, which is really nice. We're kind of just using this as a little reprieve before we dig in for this sort of last 8 to 10 weeks of comp prep. So the diet break, refeed, deload situation just allows us to mitigate or dissipate some fatigue and then continue pressing on. We've still got about another 4 kilos of fat loss to go, potentially, or actually about 4 kilos of weight to make. So realistically, it's probably another couple of kilos of fat loss and then probably some fluid manipulation, things like that, just to make weight. So today, I just wanted to run you guys through what I'm having. We've got full day of eating on a high day. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. 5 meals across the day, 500 grams of carbs, around about 100 grams of carbs per meal. And then we are going to the IFBB posing workshop later. So you guys will see how that looks, how the physique is looking, and how the rest of the competition is stacking up for a big season, which is gonna be fun. So I'll see you guys in a minute for meal 1. All right, guys, that is meal 1 done and dusted. So on this high day, you'll notice that not many variables change. I literally just keep pretty much everything static. This meal has been my staple breakfast during prep. The only addition here is the 2 English muffins. So pretty much just adding in carbs to all of these meals, which just makes it super easy to, I guess, predict the outcome. So for me, I'm such a big advocate of like keeping things very static from a digestion standpoint, a performance standpoint, and just knowing what feels good, what works well for me. So literally, I know that keeping all the same things in, just adding extra carbohydrates, I still keep all my fruits and veg in because I think that's a staple in this phase. And especially as calories come up on these refeed and diet break days, I think it's a really important point to bring up around managing hunger, because it is a bit of a trap where people fall into, where they think they have all these extra carbohydrates, but they've been dieting for such a long time, like hunger signaling skewed, and they try and do all this wacky stuff, play macro Tetris, they try and fit in like really, high glycemic index carbohydrates, lots of like sugary stuff and cereals and whatever other crappy carbs they can put in. And it ends up biting them in the ass. So they end up like hungrier, they end up bloated, they get, digestive issues, training performance suffers, they might get really big slumps in energy. So for me, I know I like to just keep volume nice and high, and I just simply add carbohydrates back in that feel really good for me, that digest well, and that maintain my energy and performance. So meal 1, egg white omelet, vegetables, watermelon, 2 English muffins with a bit of avocado, and I'll throw the total calories and macros up on the screen so you guys can see it. Alrighty guys, we are back in the kitchen. So as I mentioned, we're out today for a big chunk of the morning. So kind of just got some meals prepped ready to rock for later today, just so we're on schedule and we don't have to kind of muck around making food later on. So again, like I said, all my meals stay very, very consistent. Nothing really changes other than a few subtle things to sort of manage food volume. One of those being this chicken and rice meal. I've got 120 grams of rice. I would typically have like 300 to 400 grams of Spud Light. Again, higher calories. I just want to opt for more calorie dense foods. So chicken and rice for meal 2, plus an apple. And then my meal 3, which is my stock standard staple everyday cream of rice. You guys don't need to see how I make that one, but again, that's how it looks. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. You can go check out the full recipe, how to nail your cream of rice every single time. But those are my sort of meal 1 you saw, breakfast, meal 2, meal 3, and then I'll see you guys later in the kitchen for meals 4 and 5. right, so we just wrapped up the posing clinic. Very sweaty, they ran us through a few rounds, but it was good practice, good to see a couple of boys up there that are going to be competing this year, which is very exciting. And obviously we made lots of improvements over the last 12 months now, which is super exciting to bring it all together for the show in about 10 weeks. So kicking off meal 2, which is actually like an hour and a half, 2 hours later than I normally have it, but nevertheless we get it done. Life is good, food is on the way. So nothing changes. Meals stay exactly the same. All I've added this time is rice instead of potatoes. So just a little bit less volume, a little bit more caloric density. But as always, a little bit of fruit. Chicken stays in the rotation. I'll show you guys how it looks. It's just finished in the microwave. Time to eat. All right, so nothing fancy. Like I said, literally air fried chicken. I made it on my TikTok live this morning. So if you're not following me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. I always post my daily meals on there. Chicken, rice, and some fruit. And I had someone actually ask me on my live the other day what rice I prefer. Man, jasmine rice, white jasmine rice is the key. And with this meal, OCD with the amount of salt and pepper I put, because I measure out all my salt, which is my sodium intake for the day. But 5 cracks of salt, which works out to be about 2 grams of actual sodium. And then this one, I spoke about this heaps. I don't know if you guys can see the back of it. It's the I Am Thai Sweet Chili Light Sauce. So 23 grams per serving. Gabby almost lost all her food. For a total of 4 calories. So in terms of like diet foods, man, low calorie sauces are a game changer, especially if you're dieting, just to kind of have some sanity with your meals, obviously because you're starving most of the time, so why not enjoy it and have some flavor at least. But that's it. Rice, chicken, a little bit of sweet chili sauce, salt, pepper, and a piece of fruit. I'll see you guys at home for meal 3. All right, guys, we are back from the posing clinic. Ran a little bit longer than anticipated, but we are back in the kitchen for meal 3. I showed you guys how I made this one this morning. I got it ready while we were getting organized to head out for the day. But I'll leave a link in the description down below, or I'll actually put it on the video. You can see the full recipe on how I make my cream of rice. I've posted it a million times, so you guys are probably sick of me talking about it now. But the only thing I've done today, which is a little bit different, because I've got the carbs to do so, is toasted some banana. So a little caramelized banana on top, a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of cinnamon, and a little bit of salt, which is super delicious. But I'll show you guys how that one looks, and we'll tuck into that one for my 3rd meal for the day. All right, so bananas toasted, cream of rice already cooked this morning, so it's nice and cold. And the best part of this is the hot banana kind of melts the chocolate on top, a little bit of salt. Super delicious. But here's what we're working with. I think this one's pretty carby, to be honest, probably close to 1,000 calories. So I might throw the calories and macros up on screen for this one so you guys can see exactly how much extra food I'm having on this high day. But nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Same meal as always, just a little bit more carbs. But I'll see you guys in the kitchen for meal 4 later on for dinner. All right, guys, we are in the kitchen for meal 4, which is my dinner meal every night. Like I said to you guys, nothing really changes in terms of meal setup, meal frequency. The only thing that's really changed on these high days is just the type of carbohydrates that I'm having, or potentially the quantity of the carbohydrates that I was previously having. Tonight we are having, what are we having? Sweet potato. So we've been having, or I've been having pumpkin every night because it's way less calories. So most nights it's been like 400 grams of pumpkin. Tonight I've got 500 grams of sweet potato, a little bit more calorically dense, but in terms of just like overall food volume, it sits really nice, digests really well. And I got a question the other day about like eating different foods. So on a daily basis, all Gabby and I do is just like rotate our protein sources. So we pretty much just rotate between like lean eye fillet steak and chicken, and then we might have some fish and stuff on the weekends, but for the most part we just vary our protein sources. And again, that's just down to personal preference, but also just micronutrient density, probably a little bit more nutrients in like red meat and steak, for example. But again, we probably have it 2 or 3 nights a week, and then we have chicken the other 3 or 4 nights a week. Like I said, maybe some fish as well. But nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Same dinner as always, just rotating the protein sources, a little bit extra carbs for this meal. I might flick up the calories and macros for this one, and we have one more meal before we go to bed. We've got some pre-bed oats, which has been really nice, so looking forward to that one. But I'll see you guys for the next meal. All right, guys, that is us done and dusted. This prep series vlog, full day of eating / day in the life situation, wrapped up with meal number 5, which is my pre-bed protein oats. So you guys saw all my meals today at 3,500 calories, thereabouts, 500 grams of carbs, which has been nice. This is kind of day 3 finishing up. We've got one more high day tomorrow. Last day of resting, so last day of deload before we start back training from Tuesday. So that is us done and dusted. I'll show you the calories and macros for this meal. I'll show you how it looks. And I think just from my point of view, it's always really cool to hear your guys' feedback on like the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm sharing. because a lot of it is to just kind of share the stuff that I think is pretty straightforward and pretty mundane, but obviously a lot of people don't see it the same way. So if you guys get value from this, please, 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 it means the world to me if you engage with this content, you share it, you like it, and most importantly, you subscribe to the channel. But other than that, guys, I will see you probably Tuesday for our first workout on this new training block. So I'll show you a new training split and all the fun stuff we are doing. But until next time.